Once you have your email templates, let's talk about some best practices on how to organize those campaigns and set those up. So we use the phrase email threads to mean a series of emails strung together. And so all of those templates I just gave you, you could string together to create an email thread. Value, pain, name drop, pain questions, product, last attempt. That is basically a 6 email thread, a 6 email series that you could send as an email thread. And you could put 1 to 2 weeks in between those. Basically, what my recommendation on how much time to put in between emails is if you are going to do calling as well. If you're doing calling, I would recommend you put 2 weeks between each email. If you're just sending emails and you're not making calls, I would put 1 week between emails. But that's an example of how to string those email templates together to create a cold email campaign. Now, I recommend that you automate anything you can as a salesperson. Your time is your most valuable asset. So if you're repeating manual steps, if you're sending out emails manually, well, let me back up. If you're repeating manual steps and wasting time, that's costing you money in terms of commissions because there's only so many hours in the week that you can work. So you should automate anything that you can. And email is one of the easiest things to automate. There's tons of tools out on the market that allow you to automate a series, blast out emails to a list of people. You should do everything you can to not be typing out emails on the fly. So like, for example, there's common emails that you might have to send regularly. Like you just left a voicemail and then you're going to send an email after your follow-up of your voicemail. Hey, I just left you a voicemail. That's an email that you'll have to send a lot. So there's no reason you should type out that email every time you need it. So you should use email templates. And there's no reason why, if you create a series of email templates, there's no reason why you shouldn't string those together and automate those and send those out to lists of people if you can. You should also, and this is pretty standard, so whatever software you use to automate your emails, make sure that you're able to track opens and clicks. That's extremely valuable data for you that hopefully the system that you use can help you to collect and view open and click data, because that can help you make better decisions on who to call or who to spend your valuable time pursuing. Because if you send out thousands of emails, a portion of those are going to open, a portion of those are going to open and click, and some won't do anything. Well, there's no reason why you should spend your valuable time calling the people that don't do anything. So that's very valuable data. Make sure you get that with whatever system you use. Also, with whatever system you use, try to find a system that can do lead scoring. So I'll tell you how SalesScripter does lead scoring, and maybe that might give you some ideas of something to look at when you're looking at other systems or looking for a system. So we use this process of quality points. We send out emails for our customers. Just to back up, SalesScripter will create your library of email templates. Those email templates that I just showed you, those are all templates inside of SalesScripter. And what happens in SalesScripter is you create your sales message in SalesScripter, and then the software fills in all those templates with your sales message. And a few years ago, we created functionality to shoot out and automate the delivery of those email templates. So the reason why I paint that picture is that what we do is we track opens and clicks when prospects open emails and when they click links in emails. The software automatically gives 1 point for each time a contact opens an email, and the software gives 3 points each time a contact clicks a link in an email. Actually, that's a best practice that I haven't mentioned yet. In your email templates, you want to try to insert a link to something, especially if you're using software that can track when a contact clicks one of your links. And I would recommend you use a link that is not a salesy and marketing link like, hey, here's our product brochure, but more of like an informational link, such as here's a link to a white paper, or here's a link to a video that has some tips. Try to provide value and help to the prospect that your cold email is going to. And that's an additional way to make the email about the prospect. You're trying to deliver value instead of take value. Taking value would be trying to close the sale, get the prospect to buy from you, sending them a link that goes to a demo of your product. So you want to try to minimize that. Although in your product email at the end of your series, it would maybe be okay to have a link to product demo or video on your product. But back to lead scoring. So in SalesScripter, all of those points accumulate across your email campaign. As those emails are going out and rolling out, you're going to be collecting those points. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to look at your list of contacts and see, I shouldn't call these prospects, and these prospects have a lot of points, so I'm going to spend my valuable time calling them up. They must be interested. Regarding the scheduling of your emails, what I recommend you do is this is my personal philosophy, which is I try to send cold emails when someone is at their desk. And part of the logic there goes back to the instant delete rate. Picture, you know how I asked you earlier to picture yourself how quickly you throw away mail when you're checking your physical mailbox. Picture how quickly you delete emails when you're looking on your phone. Or another example is when you check your phone after being away from your phone for a long time. One of those prime moments is when you first wake up in the morning, whether or not you do it when you're still at home or it's when you get to the office. Imagine checking your email the first time of the day. Most of the time, there will be a lot of emails that came in overnight. When you're checking your email in this way, you're much quicker to delete. It's like having a big stack of junk mail. You're quicker to throw away mail. So what you don't want to do is you don't want your email to be coming in and being read or checked when there's a lot of email being read at once, which is start of the day, could be over the weekend, basically when the prospect has been away from their desk for a period of time. So what I try to do is I try to send an email when they're just getting into the office or they're just getting back from lunch. So that would be between 8 and 10 in the morning is when I try to send cold emails and automate cold emails, or between 1 to 2, 1 to 3 in the afternoon. And I try to avoid after business hours and the weekends and holidays. Now we're talking about building email campaigns here and sending emails and email prospecting. So of course, you're going to need email addresses to make all this work. Regardless of the list you're working on, you're going to find situations where there's people you want to communicate with that you don't have their email address. I just want to give you a tip here about getting email addresses, and some logic that I've always used as a salesperson is that you can guess business email addresses. When you're dealing with prospects that work at big companies that have established websites, typically their email address will be the domain for their website, and their email address will be some combination of their first name and last name and their company website address. With that, you can usually guess their email address. And so where I started doing this was I was selling to like C-level people, and I could get their name really easily on LinkedIn or on the company website. And I would basically just do some combinations of these. And what happens is you send that out, and most of the time it'll bounce back. It'll come back as undeliverable. If it doesn't come back, then you assume, well, your email was delivered in some way. Not to say it will get to them, but it didn't bounce back. But if it bounces back, then you change the combination and send it out. This process works. Now, I will say it's a bit cumbersome because usually when the email bounces back, it's delayed and you're already working on something else, but it works. If you have a large list of prospects, like a big territory, small businesses, this might be too cumbersome. But if you have a small list of target 10, 20 big accounts you're selling at the C-level executive suite, you could do this and it works. I do want to share with you a tool that we provide because I did that when I was a salesperson. When I learned of email verification tools, there's a ton of email verification tools out on the internet where you can insert someone's email address and press like check or verify. And what happens is tools will send out like a test ping on the MX record databases out across the internet, and they will check to see what result comes back, and they can tell you whether or not that is a good email address. And when I started becoming more aware of that technology, I thought of a way to create a tool that basically would create all of the different combinations that I would create and do test pings on each. And so in Sales Scripter, there's actually a tool called the Email Guesser. And the Email Guesser, if you put in someone's first name, last name, and company domain, company website address, the software will run the most popular combinations of those three values and do a test ping. And it'll come back, it'll show you the results and show you this is the email address for that particular person. It works about 80% of the time. So, which 20% of the time it doesn't work, but a lot of the time you're going to end up with an email address. And this works really nicely for LinkedIn because on LinkedIn, you can get those three values in less than a minute. You pull up a contact's profile, you'll have those three values run in the email guesser. And what we really like is that this tool helps you to skip the whole invite to connect process. And so that allows you to be a lot quicker with communicating with prospects that you find on LinkedIn. And it allows you to skip the whole, all right, we're connections and, now can I try to sell to you? That whole awkwardness, you can skip it. And you also get to their business email inbox. Instead of like 50% of the time you connect with someone on LinkedIn, you're going to get a Gmail address or a personal email address. So then you're ending up in their personal inbox. With the email guesser, you're ending up in their business email inbox. That's pretty much it. There's one last thing I want to talk to you about, and this is using video and voice email messages. There's a lot of different tools out there, but like, for example, a couple weeks ago, I got a voice message through LinkedIn. And I think this is a great way to differentiate from other cold emails. And I've also received video email messages where they do like I won't mention any tools, but there's tools that can have a camera and they do like a screen share. And then when the message comes into your inbox, there's a little GIF that plays part of the message. These are great ways to send your cold email. And you may be getting confused here because we were talking about email and now I'm talking about video and voice. This is all the same. You're delivering this message through your email. And whether your message is text-based, which is traditional email, or it's a video, which is you talking, or it's your voice, it's all the same thing. So, and I'm mentioning this after we talked about the email templates because you can use the same message. The same exact thing you would say in a cold email written message is what you can say in a video email message or a voice email message. The cold email templates that I gave you could be your script if you're talking instead of writing. So this can be part of your cold email campaign strategy. In fact, I would recommend that you incorporate this in some way or another. It's a great way to break through and get your message heard. And like I said, differentiate. And there's not a reason to make this more complicated. For example, sometimes people make it more complicated with sending cold emails on LinkedIn, even just text-based. They wonder, okay, well, what should I say in my LinkedIn cold email? And the reality is that your email is the delivery of an electronic message between you and the prospect. And whether that email is going to a traditional business email inbox or a LinkedIn email inbox or a Twitter direct message, the message can be the same. You may have some constraints on character limit, and that's a whole nother conversation. But if you don't have any limitations on characters, the message can be the same. The strategy can be the same. It's just a different channel that same message is traveling through. And so that same logic applies whether you're doing video messages or voice messages. It's the same message. It's just instead of being text, it's verbal or it's video. So definitely incorporate that. And that is pretty much it for the cold email prospecting strategy training module.